Welcome back to another episode of We Are Everywhere podcast. Real quick, before we get into this, like I start everyone, if you want to be on a future episode, right here is the email address, sttf.weareeverywhere@gmail.com. Or if you're following the podcast on any socials, shoot me a DM, get you scheduled for a upcoming episode. And one of my deepest Phish friends from Oklahoma. We got a lot of Oklahoma, a lot of Oklahoma people on here, which is kind of funny because it's called We Are Everywhere, and a majority of the guests are from Oklahoma. But that's where I'm from, so that's where we're starting. Without further ado, Brian Payne.
Welcome to Red Dirt Phish.
Yeah,
we are everywhere, Red Dirt edition.
We are everywhere in Oklahoma. Dude, it's so funny because whenever you hit me up, I guess it's about a month ago or a couple weeks ago, you're like, hey, I want to be on the podcast. And I was like, I want you to be on the podcast, but I'm trying to like spread out the Oklahoma people because it's like, but you know, it's humble beginnings with this podcast. We got to start where, you know, with the people I know, and my Phish crew is all in Oklahoma. So
yeah, no, I think that's critical, and that's the best way to do it. And honestly, I think that, you're going to get out there.
Yeah, we're going to get out there. We're taking over the world.
You qualified Jackson as Houston whenever you did his interview.
Yeah, just spread it out. Yeah. He's from Texas. He's never been to Oklahoma. But what's up, buddy? I mean, we haven't seen each other in years, and we were talking before we started recording. You know, a lot of life changes have happened. I've been all over the country. You've started a family.
Yeah.
You're a Papa Bear now, and
yeah.
I mean, how's that's? I want to say that's crazy, but with where we're at in our life, you know, it's not crazy. Like most or a lot of my friends have kids, but what's that like for you? Like being a dad now, has things like changed?
Oh, dude, I love it. My boy's name is Owen. He is kind of a mini me. Our baby pictures are pretty similar, which is fun. He has some facial expressions that are
you like see yourself in him.
Yeah, and I've been getting into golf like a lot of kids my age, our age recently. It seems to just happen. But he has got a deep infatuation with golf, and I'm trying to encourage him to be involved in music. So he's got a little lube 3-string guitar, which is the top end of the guitar. It's just a GB and E electric guitar. So he can actually plug it into my guitar rig, which is fun. And I've got a little drum and some sticks, and he likes to bang on that as well. And
that's cool. How old is he now?
A year and a half, a little over a year and a half.
Year and a half. Yeah, I got to briefly meet him, and his eyes, dude, got big blue eyes. I was oh my god.
Yeah, he has definitely got big blue eyes. He's a charmer. He's short and round on the scale of babies right now, which makes him extra cute. He kind of waddles around when he walks, which is really fun. But
he was a cutie, man. That's awesome, though. I mean, it's insane. It's congrats, man. I mean, that's how long it's been since we've seen each other. You've got a 1.5-year-old.
we went to New Year's 2019, 2020, and came back and found out that we were pregnant right after that. So that was exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah, and we try to indoctrinate Owen as much as we can into the Phish culture, and he gets into it, but he also likes some shorter, poppier vibes as well. So.
Yeah. You have to. I mean, it's awesome that like obviously like both of his parents are like into like great like jam band music, Phish, and stuff like that. But you can't exclude like all the other stuff, like kind of what we were talking about with pop radio and stuff. But that's cool, man. I'm assuming he's got like Phish gear, like little like Phish onesies and stuff like that. Or...
he has got a variety, and I am gonna plug my computer in while we're chatting because I just realized it's about to die, which is very amateur.
Oh no, rookie move, dude.
but check this unit out real fast here.
What do you got? Oh yeah, there you go.
He's got a variety, and he's got a Halloween shirt.
Oh
yeah, he's got a Mexico shirt, and
Very
I think
cool.
he likes wearing the Phish gear the most, which is fun for the parent because, you know, we're like
Yeah.
looking at our spawn wearing Phish gear and we think
Yeah.
it's cool as shit.
Does he have any, like, because obviously you guys have exposed him to Phish. Is he at a point where he can be like, where you can tell if he lights up? Like, does he have favorite songs or things like that?
You know, not really. It's mostly
Gotcha.
like when he's dancing, you know, he's digging it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he'll get groovy and start dancing like a madman.
And you just like raging like the Bomb Factory
shows,
tweezer,
like,
and he's over there grooving.
Yeah, dude, he gets into it. He does really like music, but I'm at the point where it's like with the instrument stuff, I try to definitely not push too hard because I don't want him to feel like I'm making him do that, you know,
forcing him to. Right.
I want him to find the joy in it on his own, which I hope it happens for him.
Yeah, I mean, and if it does, awesome, and if not, then whatever, he'll find his own thing. It's funny, my girlfriend and I were talking about that. We were watching a movie or something where like a kid, like a part of the storyline was a kid and he was like forced to like play football and like do all this like traditional stuff of like what parents, you know, want to force their kids to do, and he wound up like being like wanting to like be a dancer or something like that. And it was just like started the conversation of like, man, yeah, you can't force your kids to like do the stuff that you want them to do. Like, you got to let them find their own joy, you know.
It's best to give them a variety of environments and encourage them to seek out what makes them happy. It's definitely best that way. And you know, it's with our age, it's like you just got to keep them active all the time. It's the must do. Otherwise, they just start tearing things apart because, you know, they're bored, and if you're not entertaining them or keeping them moving, then they get
I can imagine.
Crazy. Yeah, so
I can imagine.
No, but it's good. Allie's doing really well. She is an excellent mother.
I'm sure
she's working a lot and making sure Owen and I are being well taken care of, which is great. And
that's awesome.
I'm doing some stuff in real estate right now, which is fun. I've got a small secret project that I'm starting up with a couple of guys, which, you know, we can maybe talk about if I ever come back on the show.
Okay.
But yeah, life is really good right now.
That's awesome.
It's totally amazing being a parent. Yeah, I would recommend it to anyone who's in the position where they can provide a good childhood. You know, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of effort.
Yeah, and you don't want to rush into it, and
for sure.
Because, dude, it's like, and it's crazy because like you hear people unpack, like you hear the term like childhood trauma a lot, you know, and like people like our age, older even, you know, it's stuff like if stuff that seems small that like happens when you're a kid, whether it's you know, you don't grow up as financially stable or you grow up with whatever the circumstances are, you know, that stuff sticks with you for life. You know, you can't just be like, oh yeah, I want to have a kid. Here we go. Like, everything definitely
should be very premeditated, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, same. Which is why I don't have one. I still forget to put deodorant on some days.
And
so
and I would also equally recommend that if you're not interested in having a kid, you probably just shouldn't do it.
Exactly. And as much as I'm loving this conversation, this is not a parenting podcast.
Let's get on Phish.
But I am happy for you, man. Yeah. Okay. Get on Phish. Okay, so I kind of know your Phish story just because we're homies, but when and where did the obsession start? When did you first hear Phish? When were you like, oh my God, this is it? What's that look like for you?
No, I think it's really cool. I think it was a unique deal for me. My brother was into Dave Matthews Band. That's kind of where I saw the jam scene first. I think that sometime 2002, maybe 2003, my brother got the Story of the Ghost album, and we were listening to that, and he started mixing that in with some of the other Dave Matthews and Cheese stuff that we were listening to. My brother fortunately got to go see Cheese in 2002, which is really cool. He got to see like a few shows in Steamboat, and he went to a show at the Brady Theater in Tulsa. And,
how much older is he than you?
He's 4 years older than me.
Gotcha.
So anyway, he got the Story of the Ghost album, started digging on that. I have, pretty vivid memories listening to Meat and Limb by Limb, and like trying to fall asleep as a kid in Colorado before any of the recreational stuff ever happened, and like listening to these songs and thinking like, this is just out there, weird lyrically. And I think that Phish has songs that definitely are more of an acquired taste that you appreciate more as you get into them. They also have more surface level, easier to grasp sort of stuff.
Yeah, sample jars, things like that.
That's how it happened. And then, I obviously wanted to see Phish, but they were broken up by the time I was of age to reason with my parents that I wanted to go do that. And I was super lucky because we had Rito, Kyle's younger brother, Chap, and his band with Doss and Clint and Andrew. They were playing Chalk Does Torture for our high school, cool. In 2006. And there's video, like, please get on YouTube and go check it out. Just search Rito.
Yeah.
REIDO. Right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And, they're writing really, really good songs for high school. And I think young college, early college, freshman, sophomore, maybe, in that era. And it's unique because a lot of the people that I've talked to, a lot of folks obviously came from more densely populated areas. And if they're in the Northeast and they had access to music like that around more readily, but coming up in Edmond, we didn't, and there wasn't a culture for like that. And finally now in Oklahoma City, are we getting some good bands like Crankbin came through town. A lot of other good acts have been booked. Primus just came through.
That's cool.
Yeah, tons and tons. So we're definitely up and coming, underrated market for music and dining, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were seeing Rito, and that was great. And then I saw a couple of String Cheese shows. I think my first ones were in 2007, and then my first Phish show was Alpine Valley 2009. With the Frankenstein and the flame bass and the 5-neck guitar. And
very cool, dude.
Yeah. So,
and with the, you nailed it with us, obviously, because like we're the same age, because my kind of path into Phish is similar. By the time you understand it or are exposed to it, you're like, oh my God, this is fresh. This is cool. I love this. And you're like, I can't see him. It doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
So then in 2009, like all of us that have been like pent up, like building our Phish reps up, and like, they're back. Oh my God, take all my money. So Alpine Valley is where it started for you. Who did you go with? Did you go solo? Did you go?
I think we had a few Oklahomies with us, and Taylor Knox was there, I'm sure, and Allie was there, I'm sure, and Allie's seen more Phish shows than I have, which is crazy. Somehow she did an internship in New York after college and got access to a bunch of the Northeast stuff. She went to like the Vermont Benefit Show for the.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, she has been to SPAC, which I've never been to.
Me either.
But yeah, pretty good group, man. I just want to think that there were a lot of people, like to your point, at that Alpine show. Trying to remember specifically who all was there. I mean,
it's hard to remember.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really confident that Taylor was there.
Yeah,
Taylor was there, and I don't know if Kyle was there or not. But did you go to that show?
No, my first show wasn't until Miami 2009.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't get to go to the New Year's that year, and then we did New York. That was New Year's, right? Miami was New Year's.
Yeah, Miami was New Year's. Yep.
Yeah, and then I did New York the next year, 2010, 2011.
Gotcha.
And that was the first one before the garden was renovated, which was definitely a way different vibe than now.
Dude, I've never been to New York. 2, I've never seen Phish at MSG, and I feel like I'm missing out on a whole different.
It's a thing.
Yeah,
it's a thing.
It is a thing. I almost feel like I don't have like a proper set of Phish credentials to even host this podcast because I've never been to MSG. I've never seen them there.
I don't. Yeah, no. I think it's a pilgrimage, and I think every Phish fan should make the journey at one point in their life. So chances are pretty good that you're going to get an opportunity.
Yeah.
But
dude, speaking of MSG, you just went to this run.
Yeah, yeah.
And you didn't get COVID, right? I've seen a lot of people get blasted with COVID.
No, I got COVID. I got the Delta variant in Vegas,
Oh,
and then didn't get it in Mexico and didn't get it in New York. And about 40% of our crew ended up getting in New York, which is about 40% of 45 folks. So
Jesus. So you
yeah,
got those
so
antibodies.
20, yeah, maybe 20. Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's it works out mysteriously. It seems really strange. I mean, some of the folks in our crew had like a fourth shot
Oh my
a
gosh.
couple weeks before and still got it. And it's like,
Jesus.
I didn't get any but the first two. And, it's just so weird.
It is.
It's so weird how it decides who it's going to affect. And it's not like we were sharing each other's Diet Coke with one another while we were there.
Right.
It's
just packing that many people into, it's not an outdoor venue, obviously. It's just, it's a roll of the dice. I mean, but
yeah, it doesn't seem like I didn't get it after Dick's either. And it doesn't seem, wait, yeah, I got it at Vegas. I didn't get it after Dick's, which was before Vegas. And it seems like the outdoor is definitely a lot less transmission going on.
For sure.
The indoor.
Yeah.
But yeah, the MSG run was cool. The dolphins were cool, and the whale.
So that's what I wanted to ask you about. So like, I saw the video, right? I wasn't watching it. I wasn't watching it live. I didn't pay for the stream. But I remember like the next day, like seeing all the clips and stuff on Instagram. I was like, oh shit. So how did they, like, where did they come from? That's the part that I didn't see. Did they have them like up in the rafters and like?
No, they came out from behind the stage.
Okay, cool.
Like from the sides of the stage, dolphins started swimming out. I was on the floor just like a few rows back. We were actually like 10 rows back that night. So
yeah, you sent me some pictures. Like that was.
And they just kind of came out fluttering overhead, and they started doing, Trey started doing the squeaks sounds. And then the big ass whale came out, and the crowd went wild.
Dude, so were those like drones? Like, were there people?
Yes, they were drones.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, we also in Oklahoma City, we've got the same company made the drone that is the big thunder ball. It's just like a big blue ball, and it floats around the arena, and it's just got drone fans on the sides and on the top, and like probably a camera on it.
Sure.
And just there's some guy in the back with the remote just flying it around.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, but I saw that. So they like turned it into like an aquarium. I mean, that's the gag. It was. I can only imagine seeing that like in real life. I'm sure that the videos and stuff that you see on social media doesn't even do it justice.
Yeah. So we did that. We did that. 2010, 2011 was the Meat Stick New Year's, I think, where they had the meat sticks and the different dancers and different coming out from different cultures, singing and dancing in their own language on this meat stick on the stage.
Right. I remember
and then was next year the golf theme, the garden party.
Yep. Either I get those mixed up. I don't know if the golf party was before the meat stick, but either way, there were.
I think it was meat stick first.
Okay.
I think so, because that was my first. I think that was my first one, and my brother came to the golf one, and he is a huge golf fan. It just so happened to be the one New Year's he came to. They did a golf theme, and they played.
Oh, this is great!
a whole set with golf theme songs. Fly Like an Eagle, Driver, Iron Man, you name it. Just totally great, and the whole setting that night was super special and very cool. And the band was hitting those foam golf balls out into the crowd, which was really fun.
Yeah.
So we did that one, and then I'm trying to think what other gags we saw. I did not go to the Petrichor one. I didn't go to the Hourglass one. There were a couple that I missed, but I've been to quite a few of those New Year's shows, and just a tremendous time. The energy is absolutely electric. I want to say that one of the cool things about this one was that being in April, the weather was nice. It was so much more
frozen.
Yeah. And, what happens in New York is when the snow build gets up, it gets dirty because there's trash on all the streets everywhere. So it just makes dirty water everywhere.
And oh yeah, dude, being in Michigan, it's the same thing. I'm glad things are finally thawed out here. It's like you get so much snow and then it's just Dirty.
Yeah. So anyway, it was really nice in spring. The weather was nice. You could sit outside and be comfortable, and it was not too cold. We had some really nice weather those days, and it's a lot easier to navigate when everything's not wet.
Yeah. Wet and cold and dirty.
Right.
Dude, yeah, but I got to get out to MSG at some point, even if it's
Must.
just one run. But so now knowing like how you got into Phish and then seen them in Alpine, and you've done multiple MSG runs, and you've had a plethora of years to listen and dissect Phish.
Yeah.
On the top of your head, or off the top of your head, do you have a favorite year of Phish? Like a year that you keep going back to? You're like, man,
No, I really don't, honestly.
Okay.
What's so cool about Phish for me is it's a spectator sport, and
I love that.
The music lives and breathes, especially when you're sitting there in front of it. I kind of have this thought where like each song is a book that opens and closes, and whenever they play it again, they open that book up and extend the book by another chapter. And the catalog is just a bunch of different novels of their different songs that they've expanded on, and each jam is kind of another chapter and what happens with the song. But they're definitely, I have seen shows that are just far superior than others, no question. And there are definitely years where the energy has changed a whole lot. And, being friends now with people who have gotten to see a lot of 1.0 shows, and having seen most of the 1.0 video and listened to most of the audio, there's no doubt that there is a youthful swagger that's going on when you're 32 years old and you're destroying the world. That is harder to keep in the same sort of container that you do when you're over 50. But the music is spectacular, and it's not lost its quality. In fact, I think it's gotten more refined, despite maybe slowing down a little bit. And which it has. I don't think that they pace songs the same way that they did in the 90s, which is fine. But I think that they'd rather the syncopation be really tight and accurate, and it be slowed down a little bit, than try to play it faster than everyone's comfortable with keeping up with. And I think that another facet of that for Trey is that he's built these hurdles for himself that are just really high achievements that are difficult to maintain, especially when you're continuing to add new material to the catalog all the time. So it's like, how's he going to play It's Ice with the vigor that he did in 92, now, where he's got an additional 200 songs that he's got to keep in his head, and he's got to be ready to play them, and he's got to keep some of the structured stuff really tight, and he's got to practice it. And there's just only so much time in the day. So the music changes, and that's what's cool. And I think that's why you're interested in it, and why I'm interested in it, and why a lot of our peers are into it as well. And if it were U2, it's one of the shows that we go see once, but certainly aren't going to chase it around.
Right. Yeah, no. And you nailed it. It's changed so much. Some people think it's a bad change. You get the jaded vets that like, oh, it's not the same. I haven't seen Fit.
No, it's still the best ever. There's nothing like it.
It's the best. And
there's nothing like it.
No, nothing like
it. The haters are ridiculous. It's like, if you are unsatisfied, please go watch Goose, because I'll have more space here.
Yeah. But and whenever I had Toller on, I brought this up a few times on the podcast, but it's so crazy to think now they've been playing for so long, because we look at, obviously, like whenever we got into Phish, what we were listening to or exposed to was the 1.0 and 2.0 era. And that's kind of like held on this pedestal,
for sure,
as it should be. But at this point in time, they've been playing in the 3.0/4.0 era, however you want to describe it, just as long as they've been playing in the 1.0 era. And that blows my mind, because we've been there from the beginning of that era, right? It's bizarre.
It's bizarre, and honestly, we're just so lucky. I say it every time.
Yes,
I say it every time. We're so lucky that Trey got cleaned up and is living a happy and healthy life, and he is certainly the orator for music for me, and he pulls it out of the sky. And his band, they all work together so well.
Yeah.
and active listening.
Finding the hay hole.
Yeah, there's just nothing like it. There's just nothing. No one else does it like that, and so it's really unique.
It is.
It's different than other jam bands who jam, but their music doesn't shift tonally as much.
Right.
There's not enough. There's either not enough or they're not good enough yet at actively listening to one another to stay on top of modal changes that are happening on the spot, and then key changes on top of that, and then rhythm changes on top of that. And so obviously with only 4 people too, it's a lot easier to poke holes through it because there's more
areas to fit in
for each one. Yeah. Yep. So, it's cool that they can make it happen that way. And there are other great jam bands out there. I'm certainly not suggesting there aren't, but I don't think anyone else does it like Phish does.
Yeah, no, there's a clear, hierarchy of who the best is. Yeah. So even though you don't have a favorite year of Phish, do you have a favorite jam? Or let's do.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I have a favorite. I would go ahead and immediately admit all of the 90s and early 2000s just because I didn't get to see that. And now that I've, seen quite a few shows in the 3.0 era, it's like, yeah, I feel like 97, 98, 95, 94, 96, 93, 92, like all that shit's just crazy, Like I think maybe my favorite 1.0 jam is probably the Weekapaw groove from 12/31/95. That thing just warps so hard and just gets drippy.
Yeah.
And the band working together to create this sound is just absolutely mind blowing. But certainly Phish picked it. Phish started getting. They're always tight, but I think obviously after the hiatus coming back, the first couple of years were a little bit rough. Just kind of dusting off the dusting off the cobwebs. And I think that 2012, 2013 things started. Maybe 2013 things started picking up quite a bit. I think that was the year I did a lot of the West Coast run. Gorge, Tahoe. Was that the Tahoe Tweezer year?
13. Dude, you are asking the wrong guy. I have to have the oh, what are you doing? Owen. Oh, he can't hear me. You got your AirPods in.
What are you doing? You got a muffin? I think that was 2013. Yeah, I think I did that. I also love Bill Graham. MSG is great, and I don't know that they played Shoreline the last time, but we did most. I had a lot of Oklahomies seeing Phish, Edmondite Oklahomies seeing Phish with us in the early 2010s, and a lot of them, obviously life happens for everyone. Just were a little bit less dedicated and didn't want to go as much, and so that kind of fell off as we found. Can I jump into some story here? Is that okay?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So here's what happened. So 2000. Wait, when was the Broomfield Event Center? There was the 4 Mile Canyon. My wife and I, girlfriend at the time, were living in Boulder after high school. We spent 3 years out there. She graduated college in 3 years with some pre-med degree or anyway.
So I'm looking it up. Broomfield, that was 2010.
2010, yeah. So I was broke as a joke working at a deli in Boulder for literal minimum wage, and even then things were expensive, which I don't know how anyone would do it now.
Right.
But we went to that show. There was a bunch of bands. String Cheese played a set. Trey came out and played a set played a song with String Cheese. I think it was like Outside and Inside or something like that. And then the next 3 nights, Phish was set up to play at that same venue in Broomfield. And I went to just the first night and not the second 2. And this guy met my girlfriend, my now wife, at the at the show, and he was a little squirrely dude, and he was really funny, and he was quite a bit older than us. He's 10 years our senior, and he was basically befriending us and befriending my wife. That made me feel really insecure and kind of jealous. And I ended up not going the next 2 nights because tickets were really, really hard to get a hold of, and the venue was really, really small. And we ended up getting scalped some tickets that were outrageously priced, and
Sure.
I was unable to afford it, so I didn't go the night 2, night 3. And my wife befriends this guy. He's like, I'm moving to Boulder in 3 weeks. I don't know anyone. I need some friends. And so they see the next 2 shows together, and then he ends up coming to town in 3 weeks, and then I'm like super paranoid and worried.
You're like,
this guy's trying to like knack and steal my girlfriend. And
right.
this guy, his name's Josh Paul, and he turns out to be like my lifelong best friend. We end up seeing like every Phish show together. He and I have our souls have just deeply connected over experience with one another. And he basically, as the Oklahomies kind of started dwindling and their numbers that were coming to shows, a lot of us would still go to Dick's, and our group would stand next to this other group, and Josh would be with us at these shows. And he ended up getting to meet some of these people in this adjacent group, and they ended up kind of being the group that we merged into when our friends stopped coming as frequently. So we ran into this group of folks that we'd been standing next to at Dick's for several years. And then he met his girlfriend in Mexico. I think it was 2017. They are married now and have a kid, and they live in Half Moon Bay, but are now moving over to Miami, which is where they're both from. So they met in Mexico, which was great. And I have gotten to meet this network of just a tremendous network of friends that goes and sees Phish together, and everyone's really dedicated. They're from all over to going and being together while we're there. And so we always have just the coolest shit happen.
And that's one of the beautiful things about this, dude, is like, you know, you start with your core friend group, like whoever you're going with.
Yeah.
They know someone, and you know someone, and then it just builds and builds and builds, and it's beautiful. It's cool.
Yeah, and I spent the Edmond guys, my friends Jimmy and Adam, we must have seen 40 or 60 shows together at least. In the early 2010s, going to shows. We did all that West Coast together with the Oklahomies, and then we'd continue to go to Dick's. I've not missed a Dick's, so I've always been on the floor at Dick's in front of the soundboard, which you guys always like to stand at the back.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why you guys want to stand at the fucking back of the soccer field. I've had at-length conversations with Kyle about this, but it's ridiculous that you guys want to pay out the ass to go to a Phish concert and you want to stand a mile away. It's like,
dude, I
want to be front and center in the tone zone, feeling like I'm in the small club.
I hear you. I hear you. Different strokes, man. We have this same area that we go to. So we're behind the soundboard to the left, and there's this, they have the speakers set up.
Yeah, there's this
one speaker that we go to, and like that's been our hub. Like,
you guys are just a bunch of spinners. You guys are just back there like,
oh no, no, we're not. That's not our crew.
I've walked by, and you guys are just like,
you're lying. Those people are back there, though.
No, that's you guys.
No, that is not us.
I've seen it. I'm like, Jackson, what are you doing? He's like, man. And then I was telling fucking Kyle, like, why are you going way at Stanley? Kyle's like, I'm up at the front now from now on. And now I've seen Casey McDonald at quite a few shows. Have you talked to Casey yet?
I haven't. No, I haven't talked to him in a while.
I'm sure that he'll jump on the cast at some point if you ask him to, or
for sure. But dude, we stay back there because 1, we've got that speaker right there. We've got good sound. 2, we have room to move, not spin. And then 3, if you need to dip out to the bathroom or grab a beer, you're right there. It's less hectic.
No, yeah. I've learned I'm a tank though. I've learned that like I can make it through the show without peeing if I absolutely have to.
Oh, dude, see, I can't
get one at set break, and that's
I have a hard enough time holding my pee doing this podcast, dude. I have the bladder of a 2-year-old. Like, I'm peeing constantly, especially like if I'm drinking beers like at a show or something. I'm peeing all the time. But dude, the Dick's runs, I was so like dead set. I was like, I'm never gonna miss a Dick show. It's 12 hours away.
It's
all
amazing.
of our homies are there. It's like a hometown show almost.
Right.
And then
everyone goes.
And then I move, and I was like,
it's hard to get to Dick's.
I know. I moved to Oregon, and like whenever I first got there, kind of like what you were saying, like when you were in Colorado, I'm just scraping by. The finances aren't there, and so I had to miss 2016, 2017. I had to miss like 3 years in a row. And then I was like, okay. So then whenever I moved to Michigan, a little bit more, financially stable,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, okay, I can do the plane ticket, I can do I can make the trip. And
Yeah,
so I'm back on my Dick's runs, dude. You
dude.
can't, they're
Are you
so
coming this
good.
year?
Oh yeah. I was the only one out of our group text, like Jackson,
Yeah.
Leonard, Gunner and all them. I was the only one that scored through the lottery. So I got all 4 nights.
Oh, nice.
Did you score or no?
I think we did a CID package with the floors.
Oh
So,
wow, cool.
the CID package, if you're wanting to have floor tickets, is so worth it.
Gotcha.
Because if you can't, they're just so much harder to get, especially for like MSG. Probably a little bit easier for Dick's soccer field floor than for other venues. But
Right.
we got screwed a little bit because we paid for hotel prices for for New York City and New Year's, which again in April the hotel prices are not what they are in New Year's, so
Right.
it was a little bit more pricey than it would have been. But the CRD package is definitely worth it for the floor tickets. It's the ease and convenience and peace of mind of having a decent hotel. The places have always been pretty good.
Everything's just taken care of.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And if you end up not getting all the tickets that you want, you can end up paying out the ass day of, which would totally counter any
the whole point of it
that you would have spent. So no, I'm definitely in favor of that sometimes. But you're gonna do Dick's? Are you gonna do any other stops this summer?
Yeah, so I'm doing Pine Knob in Michigan.
Okay,
it's right down. It's like 40 minutes
that's
away.
cool.
And then my girlfriend and I were both kind of on the fence about doing Deer Creek. We did Deer Creek last year, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But we haven't bought our tickets for those as of yet, which it's not sold out, so that's good. So that'll probably be like a game day decision, like as it approaches. But assuming that happens, I'll be doing Deer Creek, Pine Knob, and then
nice.
Dick's. Yeah,
nice.
What about you?
I think we're doing Alpine and Dick's this year.
Cool.
Again, with the kid, it becomes harder to go to as much summer,
priority
stuff. But we got a really good network here, and we got some good childcare with all of the in-laws. So we were lucky enough, and I hope that we get to do the Garden again this year. If it's not at the Garden, maybe we'll take it to Miami or something.
Yeah, dude.
I don't think they're supposed to be a Halloween this year, though. I think that they have said that they're not, or that something else is going on. I'm not sure.
No, I've heard or seen, I don't want to call them rumors, but just people's takes on, whether there's going to be a fall tour because of the amount of shows that they're playing in the summer tour. But you can't, there's no way to really know until the band announces, but that would be cool to get some fall shows, especially if they're geographically, where I can hit a few more. But yeah, as of right now, just Dick's and Pine Knob.
Well, let's get together at Dick's. I'll find you spinning at the bat.
And not a spinner, man.
I'll find you spinning back there in circles.
Dude, we do need to connect at Dick's because, like I said, as of right now, it looks like I'm going solo. So
maybe you come hang out with our crew. Then you're planning coming in solo.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's a blessing, and getting to know this group of folks over time has just been tremendous. We have just the coolest parties ever.
It's fun.
We had one of the chicks that we only got to know more recently. Her name is Corinne. Had her 100th show at Madison Square Garden, and her husband is a G, and he set up this party with DJ Airwolf. That was a exclusive invite.
Wow.
Open bar deal after the show where they had the jams going on and just free food and free drinks and yeah, dude.
These are the people I need to know. Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're throwing a party for someone because they've hit their 100th show,
dude,
free booze and free food. I need to know these people.
Our group does it really big, and it's just the most eye-opening, coolest shit. Because this group of people, it's weird. Obviously, when coming up in Oklahoma, one of the first things people say to you when you meet somebody, they're like, "What do you do?" This group is not at all about what you do. they're there to have a good time, and everyone just pours love into one another and builds these tremendous friendships and this caring relationship. And the whole group works together. We go out and have really nice meals when we're all together and do a lot of fun stuff. And as we've gotten to know better, we've done more and more stuff. I was telling you, I don't know if that was before we started recording, but I was telling you about our friend's party in Santa Fe. He turned 40. So we all flew out there. Allie and I drove. The girls dressed. We had a secret party he didn't know about. So we did Meow Wolf one night, and we went to this big Japanese theater the next night. And then,
wait, what's Meow Wolf? What is
Meow Wolf is the George R. R. Martin funded psychedelic experience. Sorry, that is in Santa Fe. There's one in Denver, and now there's one also in Las Vegas. It's like a super trippy event space where there's a story you can follow around. Check it out. But all sorts of cool exhibits and like interactive things that you can do in this place. And there's like there's a story that you can follow if you choose to, or else you can just go around to all the different exhibits and hang out and play with the different stuff that they've got going on. But we had a space oddity party where the girls didn't tell him. He had no idea. And we all dressed up like astronauts and aliens, and they dressed him up like David Bowie.
Oh, that's cool.
And so we partied for his 40th birthday, which was great. And just really cool shit like that, where people are just excited to be with one another and to share time with one another and build these strong relationships. And, you know, I don't know that if we had found them, I would be able to frequent Phish as much as we do. But it makes it so much more worth it for my wife and I when we get to go and see these friends that are living in Tahoe or in Chicago or in Florida or in Maine or in Telluride. And so, you know, we're all over the country and we're chatting all year long and we're planning out who's going to be where with what. And it's a really cool network and a really cool deal. So I think that that's happening everywhere in Phish.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many, and it's so crazy because like if you take every person at, we'll say Dick's, right? Every person that's at Dick's, it would be kind of cool to see, like, because everybody's there with a group or knows someone in someone else's group. It would be cool to like work your way through somehow and see, like, you know, someone there that knows everyone there knows someone by some other person in whatever group.
Like the degree of separation must be 2. It must be like, if you know 2 people, then you are connected somehow to everyone in the entire place.
And that's bizarre, dude.
Because those like, 2 people know 2 people each that are also there or know people there.
I wonder if there's like a way to figure that out, like statistically.
It's small, dude. It is small. And I, you know, having been to as many shows as I have, you know, I see so many of the same people down there on the floor time after time. And so I've slowly met a lot of them, constant frequenters, people that I meet 5 or 6 times before we finally realize that we know each other and we've been doing this, you know, for a few years.
It's like, so-and-so was in my wedding.
Totally. So it's special, dude. It's special.
It is. So at this point, how many shows have you seen?
I think I'm at 125, 124, 125.
Right around there. Do you log them at all? Like, do you get on FishNet or do you have the app? Or
I use the Helping Friendly app.
That's what I use too.
I don't have it rigged up through Phish.net though, which I hear is the way to do it. And so before.
I'm with you. I'm with you on the app. I'm with you on the app, man. It's way more user friendly. I mean, it gets buggy sometimes, but
or he doesn't update it sometimes, but yeah, it says 124.
Cool. So
out to hear my.
Well, hold on. Before we get into your stats, out of all 124 shows you've seen, what is a song that you've been chasing that you still haven't seen yet?
I've seen most of them.
You've seen every single song you want to see.
I mean, the songs not heard is like ultra rare, early 90s, like ultra rare, done once or twice sort of thing.
Right.
I don't know that honestly, I'm really not chasing much. And I don't go to chase, and I don't play in the, like, we had a Facebook group with a league deal where we would pick songs. I think you were maybe even in that. with Taylor Knox had a boyfriend that would run this deal.
Oh
And
yeah.
the group of friends that I'm in now, they all do this pick 5 deal where you pick 5 songs each night, throw in $5. And I've learned that I don't like to bet on what Phish is going to do because it builds these expectations where I feel let down if they don't do what I want them to do. And I'm like, I'd rather just be there and experience what is supposed to happen and not get caught up in my head about, oh, that was the slot for the song that I picked.
Right. Turn it into like a fantasy football type thing. Yeah, I do remember you mentioning that. I think I was whenever that started, I think that I was included on that and then kind of just fell out. I don't think I ever participated.
I don't know. I think Kyle played in anyway. So I've learned that I don't like to gamble. And there's when it comes to Phish songs, I enjoy some gambling otherwise, but I don't like to gamble when it comes to choosing what Phish is going to do or trying to predict that. It is fun to do, but I hate it when I feel let down and it's like not what I'm going to be there for. You know?
Yeah, you're like, I ruined my time over some secondary thing that I was doing.
Right.
Yeah. Dude, and it's crazy. I like to ask that question because, you'll have some people that have seen hundreds of shows, like starting in the 1.0 era, and they've been chasing this one song, like for 30 years and they just have never gotten it. But then you have people that have seen 5 shows and get, these crazy bust outs and stuff.
So on my stats, it says the most played song that I've not heard is The Curtain, which I've heard the Curtain with, and I don't know that they do The Curtain without anymore.
Sure.
Because they always just play the second part of the song now.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, yeah.
And it's funny, I remember talking to Leonard a few dicks ago when we were talking about Punch You in the Eye and The Landlady. Yeah. Right. Is that what it is? The Landlady is the first part of Punch You in the Eye. And I was like, they never played The Landlady. We're always going to get punched. And then that year they played Landlady. So I guess they could play The Curtain at some point, but they don't. When they play The Curtain, it's The Curtain with.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And then besides that, Paul and Silas, which is a song that we played in Norman when we were jamming together.
Yeah.
I guess that those would be the 2 at the top of the list, but I don't,
Paul and Silas would be cool.
Yeah. I don't know that I go to the shows chasing those specific jams, and things like Magilla, I guess, are more tab oriented anyway. So that's counting as a Phish miss, but songs not heard is not at the forefront of my mind. For a while it was Hold Your Head Up though. And then that happened.
Dude, yeah, I'm not too like, especially like in the older shows, where they were doing it a lot.
Yeah.
It's never really like it doesn't really do anything for me. It's just mostly like gimmicky to me. I'm like,
and it's just in Harpua and it's
let's get it over with. Let's get on to something else, which is a perfect segue. So you don't have any songs that you're chasing. What is a song that you're okay with never hearing again? What is your least favorite Phish song?
I hate I would hate for Trey to ever hear me tell you that I would never want to hear a song. But I don't know, maybe like the easy one would be like Time Turns Elastic, or maybe Petrichor is not super cool. Like I get it, he's trying to do compose shit like he was doing in the early days, and he's just got a different perspective now, and I think that the way he does the longer compose shit nowadays is more orchestral feeling.
It is
style, and it is a little less gritty than the composed shit that he was doing, like when he was writing
any of the compositions.
Fluffhead.
And it's from a different, if we're gonna sit down right here right now and make a composition together, we're in our 30s. It's gonna, and then we do the same thing when we're in our 50s. It's going to be a different style. It's going to be a different, you've gone through so many different life experiences, but I'm with you that, like the 2 that you named off, like Time Turns Elastic. Oh, and how funny was that? Like with the stream, whenever, nobody went, they did it. But I was like pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh my God, like this is the gag, because they have to hear, people or see people.
No, dude, they hear it.
They're fully aware. And I think that was kind of like a, hey, nobody's here and you're all watching at home and we know you're not going anywhere. So you're going to listen to Time Turns Elastic. And I didn't hate it. I really didn't.
No. And it's never bad.
Yeah.
Like, if you're standing in front of Phish and they're playing music for you, there are way worse places you can be always.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
And that's
you're
what
always in like one of the coolest places you can be.
Yeah, and that's why I like to ask that question because, like, there's a lot of like hate, and like we talked about the jaded vets, within the community earlier. But at the end of the day, we can sit here and be like, oh, like, oh, they didn't jam that, or oh, they're playing this song, or oh, this show sucks, or whatever. Even
Yeah.
if you go to like the shittiest quote unquote Phish show
Yeah.
ever, like you're still standing in front of your 4 favorite musicians and they're
Right.
playing music. Like,
Right.
I would
And like,
take
aren't
that
you
over
happy
anything.
it's not Dave Matthews? Like,
oh, the Dave Matthews.
Oh, his jams are one dimensional. His songwriting is incredible, but his jams are one dimensional, and so it makes it where, like, after you've seen it, Dance Marching Jam, it doesn't do anything different than it ever does before. And so, like I love Dave Matthews. I think the songwriting is great. He came out and played that
in Mexico,
a couple songs in Mexico, which was awesome, and I hadn't seen him in over a decade.
And people were hating on that.
People were hating on that. It's like, you guys are crazy. Our feet are in the sand, and we have free tequila and hot food right now. Like,
why are you?
Why are you guys worried about anything?
Yeah.
But that was a ton of fun, and obviously Dave had Trey come sit in the week before at the same venue, and so I think Trey was reciprocating there.
Yeah.
But I would like to mention, I think my favorite show, which was with Josh and Jimmy, was, I think it was Shoreline 2016. It was like a 5 or 6 song second set. And for me, like, the best Phish doesn't really matter what the song count is. It's about the flow of the music. Mm-hmm. And I don't particularly.
Okay, so I pulled up the set list here. Second set, Blaze On, Twist, Light.
Yeah.
Joy Hood, Cavern.
Dude, straight like fucking fire. Like, that show was a mind bender.
I'll have to listen to it. I don't know it off the top of my head.
Absolutely, the energy is completely electric and
insane.
And I think that maybe one in 10 or maybe 1 in 15 or 20 of the shows that I go to has that sort of energy, and it's nights like that where you remember it, you're just like, dude, like the flow, the changes in the music, the segues between the songs felt nonstop, constantly building, peak after peak sort of deal. And that can be achieved with 5 songs. It can be achieved with 10 songs, but it's about the approach and the way it's executed that makes it one night feel completely different, where it's rigid and broken up, and one night where it's just flowing the whole entire time. And so I think that's what
so much that goes into it.
Yeah, and I think that's what Phish offers me and as a spectator, it's like, I want to go see the flow, and it's just like going to an NBA game and watching your team come back from behind 10 or behind 15 in the fourth quarter and win.
Yeah,
and it's like that same electric energy, but we usually don't lose at Phish.
You never lose.
You really don't. Even the worst nights are still you're winning.
You're seeing Phish. Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Before we hop off of here, out of all the shows, you've been on multiple tours, been to multiple states to see this band, multiple friend groups. What are some of your favorite memories that you're willing or are safe for you to share, that just stick out in your head, where you're like, oh my God, like that was hilarious, or oh, that was so cool? Just favorite memories from tour. Could be music based, could be friend based, could be on the way to the venue based. Anything that pops out.
Honestly, I don't know, I think the West Coast tour 2013 was probably one of my favorites. We're really young and irresponsible then. And
no worries.
We did the Gorge, and we did Tahoe, and it was either Shoreline and then the Hollywood Bowl, or Shoreline.
So you just did the whole run.
Bill Graham. Yeah, we pretty much did it all. That was really, really cool. But man, the memories I'm building right now, like what we're doing with our friends, is just so outstanding that it doesn't feel, I'm hoping it doesn't end anytime soon. It's just always so cool. It's like, what do they say in Parks and Recreation? Tom, what does he say? Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty much what we got going on.
It's like a reward.
Yeah, it's like a reward.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know.
Just all of it. It's
really, yeah. I don't know. Do you have any like a one specific memory that?
I have a few, man. I mean, and some of them that that pop in my head almost like have nothing to do with Phish.
Yeah.
Like this last Dick's run, one of the hardest times that I ever laughed. And it's one of those stories like where you had to be there. But like after the show, it was me, Pete, Toller, Gunner, and Jackson. So we're rolling deep in Pete's car, right? Like we're scrunched in. And it seemed like every night after the show, we went to McDonald's afterwards. Like there was one on our way to our Airbnb, and we would always stop there. And we're doing separate orders, and it's hectic. You can imagine
chaos.
Yeah. And every single night, like we would all get the same thing, right? We would get like 2 McDoubles, a large fry, and a Dr. Pepper. But we would always do it in the least productive way possible. Instead of rolling up there and be like, hey, can we get 10 McDoubles and 5 fries? We'd be like, okay, first order, I need 2 McDoubles. And went through the whole time, and we're laughing, it's just
like fucking.
And there's this one time, like we go through, and I had a 10 in my hand, and I handed it to Pete because he's driving, and I said, hey, will you see if they'll give me 2 5s? And he hands it to him and everything, and he says, can I get 2 5s? And then they're like, sure. And they come back, and they brought me 2 pies. They thought that we said we wanted 2 pies. And he hands me the bag, and then he hands me a change. I was like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, they gave us 2 pies. I said, I wanted 2 5s, dude. And it was just one of those perfect
You at least get some change if you get 2 pies for $10, man.
And dude, I laughed about that. Like I couldn't catch my breath. Like I laughed so hard, like my head was hurting. And it's just silly shit like that. Has nothing to do with Phish. That can happen.
Post-show shenanigans.
Yeah, post-show shenanigans.
No, I really enjoy. I have great memories in the Dick's parking lot after the Dick's shows, hanging out in the hotels there. We had a great time. Our buddy Brad and some of other friends of ours, the Summers, got a suite in Vegas one year with a pool table in it and a couple bedrooms and a big ass living room, and we just raged there all night long after the shows, which was tremendous. We had a silent party at Dick's this last year because the hotel staff basically was like, you guys have to be quiet or leave. And so we had
a silent party? What is
45 people in a hotel room. We were all just whispering.
Just whispering?
Yeah. The music was really low and we were whispering.
Yeah, you said silent party, and I didn't know if you meant like a silent disco, like where you all had headphones on.
No, it was no silent disco. It was just everyone had to be really quiet, and it was one of those quirky ass things that happened where none of us were motivated to get up and leave and like go find a bar or something. It might have been past bar hours for dinner anyway, but
yeah,
we were set up and we're not wanting to really move, and we were in a suite, and they came. They were like, "You guys are gonna have to be quiet or get out of here," and so we just like
had a silent party, whisper party.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, it has been tremendous time. I can't wait to see you at Dick's. Let's get together.
I know, dude. I'm excited. Yeah, so I still haven't bought my plane ticket yet.
Get a ticket. Get a ticket.
Yeah, so I've got my tickets. I've got my
plane ticket.
But I got to get my plane ticket. And then as it gets closer, see if, because I know you got the CID package and stuff. As it gets closer, I'll see if anybody, Gunner, Jackson, whoever, if they can get, make the commitment. Because I'm not really trying to get like an Airbnb by myself. You know what I mean? So going to kind of wait a little bit and see what the lay of the land is and where I'm going to be staying and stuff like that. So, but I'll be there 100% and we got to link up. So
yeah, dude. Well, I can't wait.
Your extended crew will rage Phish together. It's been a while. Did I see you at last year's Dick's? Did we meet up?
Probably.
Maybe. If it was brief because we didn't do any of the shows together.
On the grassy knoll before the shows. Taylor used to date this guy Jamie Jones.
I know Jamie.
Definitely, you should put him on the podcast.
Yeah, I know Jamie.
And I hadn't seen him in like a year, and he grew this big ass beard, and I was like, oh my God. So I didn't know if you were hanging out with him. I specifically remember seeing them before.
No, I don't think I saw him. I don't think I saw him.
Were you guys spinning at the back of the floor?
We were, dude. It's funny that you say that because I had floor tickets for every night, but everyone else had stands, so I was stubbing them down, and we actually got up pretty close, like towards the front. We were Mike's side, and so we raged there pretty much every night.
I feel like I might have seen you.
Maybe
I feel like I might have seen you, but we didn't get to chat at length.
it was brief, if at all. But yeah, this year at Dick's, we're doing it together.
Consider it done.
Done. We'll see you there, dude. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Of course, I want to connect you with some of these other folks. I'm sure I can get you some folks outside of Oklahoma who would chat and tell their story.
That would be amazing. Yeah. After we're done here, hook it up. I'm always looking for new guests. Yeah, and especially no shade to anybody in Oklahoma, but we've had a lot of Oklahoma.
Yeah, no, I think I could get you some more folks around the country.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and then sprinkle in some Oklahoma people as they come. Yeah,
should let Allie do the show one time. That would be fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely, especially because she's into it just as much as anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, see more shows than you.
You need more female guests too.
I do. I won't spoil it yet, but next week's guest is also a female.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's going to be a good one. So,
all right.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for taking the time. Once again, if you are listening or watching, pop this up. Shoot me an email, STTF, we are everywhere at gmail.com. Get you booked for a future episode or shoot me a DM. Be Payne. Thanks, buddy.
Yo, later, man.
Bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.
You too.